Hi there. Welcome back to another quick and easy watercolor painting. I'm Rod Bergeron, and today we're going to be looking at a couple of fundamental watercolor techniques, primarily wet on wet. So I have this page is very wet. You see me just wet it there, and I'm going to put a couple of streaks of blue paint across there like that. And I'm not going to rinse this brush out. I'm going to put it into my Payne's gray. And I'm going to give myself a couple of streaks like that across there. Okay, so nothing too fancy, just a couple of streaks of Payne's gray, a couple of streaks of blue. All right, I'm going to take this brush. I'm going to pick up some more Payne's gray. I'm going to top this brush along here because I'm trying to make a tree line that's way off in the distance. Okay, so we're not going to do any more to it than that. We're going to let all that Payne's gray bleed off into that other color. And right now we're going to take this and we're going to pick up a little bit more Payne's gray, a little bit more intensely, and we're just going to come across here like this and swoop back. This is going to become our shoreline. So we're going to take this brush now and we're going to put it into this sienna that I have here. And we're going to put a little bit of sienna across there like this. And we're going to let all that just bleed together. You see that sienna has some Payne's gray in it. We're going to pick up a little bit more sienna. We're just going to come across here like this, just like that. And we're going to leave that little spot that's in there because I think it's got some visual interest to it. We're not going to touch it any more than that. Okay, so I'm going to take this brush now and I need to pick up some Payne's gray to go across this sort of lake area here. But before we do that, I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to rinse it out fairly well. And I'm going to pick up some of this, which is yellow ochre. Pick up quite a bit of yellow ochre here. And I'm going to introduce that along here. And I might even take a little bit of this yellow ochre and just put it in this tree line back here a little bit, just again to add some visual interest to it. Okay, now we're going to take this brush. We're not going to rinse it out. We're going to put it into the water and back out and pick up some of this Payne's gray. And the objective here is to swoop along that shoreline and along this shoreline and pick up some of that color and bring it back down into here. That's exactly what we're looking for. Nothing more than that, okay? All right, see how we're getting some of this to bleed up into there? That's gonna look fabulous for us. Okay, so don't rinse this out. Don't add anything to it except for Payne's gray. Okay, so we're gonna take this, we're gonna put it into the Payne's gray. So by not adding any water to it, this would be a dry brush onto the dry paint. So that would be dry. So this is dry paint onto wet. And this is how we bump up saturation levels, okay? So I'm gonna put a bunch of that in there like that. And then I'm gonna set my brush down. I'm gonna pick up my #1 watercolor brush that I have a sharpened point to here, all right? You don't have to use a #1 watercolor brush. You can use, you can use anything that you want to use. You can use a barbecue skewer. You can use a point on a compass. You can use anything. Anyways, I'm going to draw some trees out of those piles of Payne's gray and up into the sky like this. Okay, so from the tree and then back up. I'm going to keep building up some trees here. Okay, so you see how that dragging that out of there creates that, diminishes that Payne's gray because you're dragging it up into the sky like that. So if you wanted to, you can keep taking your Payne's gray and keep putting your Payne's gray into this like that, and then go back, create more trees, you know, put some off on an angle, whatever it is that you think you want your painting to look like. I just moved my board there a little bit. That's okay. Staying in frame. Okay, and so you see that starts to diminish that. I have here my little bag of salt, and I'm just going to put a little bit of salt into a few places along here, along that line like that. And then you need to just walk away and let this dry and see what it becomes. All right, that took a super long time to dry, so I had to take my hairdryer to it. But look at this little bit of salt. Look what this little bit of salt has done along here. And our scribe lines for these trees turned out super. Look at that, those are great. The little bit of blue that we put in here into the sky has just really, really captivated that whole sky. And if you look, there's a really good complement between the blue in the sky and this orange brown that's on the shoreline here. What happens when we put our mat on it? Yeah, you see, that turned out pretty well. I really like that. I'd love to know what you think of it. Let me know in the comment section. And as always, if you're currently a subscriber, thanks a lot. And if you're not currently a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching today. And if you ever have a question or a comment, or there's something that you want me to see me paint, I'd love to hear from you. So let me know in the comment section. Thanks a lot for watching today. See you again real soon.